Good evening, BSTV fans. Welcome to the GTCC Season 2 Round 5. We are at Laguna Seca. Every rookie's favourite track. Every rookie series comes here. I seem to have said that for the last 3 races we've been at recently. I am Pete Bingham. In the booth with me this evening is Tyler Newitt. How are you doing, Tyler?
Hello, Pete. I'm doing good.
And on the cameras, and doing all the technical stuff in the background, our one-arm bandit, Sam Boozin. How are you doing?
Tired from yesterday, but hope this one will bring some good racing.
Oh, I'm sure it will, and I am also equally knackered. 10 hours of talking with about an hour off. That drains anybody. But not enough to drain my spirits for this one. It's an 18-degree track currently. We're in qualifying, and we've got a 25-car field, which is pretty healthy and strong. I already checked the session setup. It is for rolling start, just for anybody that remembers what happened the last time out. And that man's at the top of the timing charts again, Tyler. What do they need to do to get him off there, other than drive faster than him?
Oh, I was about to say, yeah, drive faster. I don't like to, I'm not going to call the race before it's over, before it starts, but Tice, people are going to need Tice to make a mistake today, I think is what it comes down to. I ran the practice session on, somebody put up on, I guess it was Friday, and felt pretty quick, and then Tice came around, still getting acclimated to his new sim rig, and pipped my time. And it looks like he's found about 3 or 4 tenths since then as he goes for a spin. So, there's lots of avenues for mistakes to be made around Laguna Seca. So it's certainly not, set in stone, a Tice Simons victory, but his pace is pretty remarkable. Tom Sluter has got within 2 tenths. Paul Burgess a half a second back in third as we see Tom going for a slide there. So getting a little tricky. The track's still pretty cool. So they're going to have to, if they're struggling with the track at this temperature, it's not going to get any better for them. So they're going to need to get that under control, I think.
I reckon so, and there's a few people sliding around on the tyres. So I'm trying to type and talk at the same time. I don't do multitasking very well. Yeah, good evening to Rob on the chat, Ben on the chat. Guess who's back? Back again. It's Ben Cullen. And hi to James. Do we have... yes, we have all the safeguard cars, the result cars in here, don't we? We've got Martin Brennan. And we've got Carl Hardy. Yeah, there's more than that usually. Oh no, there's Frank T. Bosch.
Yep, Frank's in.
I missed anyone.
I'm just double checking. I feel like you have, but I can't.
Yeah, I think I have.
Mark Draper usually runs this, but don't see him registered for the session.
True. Yeah, where's he gone?
I don't know.
Yeah, annoying. Anyway, so Laguna Seca, a very iconic track, a very iconic series of corners in the corkscrew. Catches people out, even the best of people sometimes. I've seen about 3 cars lose it, most of them BMWs actually, which is odd, just in the practice session before this one. We are 9 minutes into qualifying. It does destabilise the car, that turn, doesn't it? When you've got to take a lot of the first curve and none of the second curve, really, haven't you?
Yeah, that's what I was saying to... I forget who it was we were talking to last night during the endurance race, but yeah, it's you really do have to with these cars in particular. You can take a lot of the first curve. You don't have to get a good run off, but really you need to stay off of the right-hand portion of the curbing, just because these cars are so rigid on the platform, and the track just falls away from you there. Anyone who's ever, been to Laguna Seca or driven it in VR as we ride on board with Ben going through there, it just drops away rapidly, and it's so easy in these cars to spin up one of your inside tires as it falls away, because you set these cars up so stiff, and you just do that kind of lazy half spin into the wall that is so common here. So there's a lot of cars, slower, smaller cars. We took the GT4 series here a couple seasons ago, I think, and you could take a good chunk of that right-hander right to the apex, but you can't do it in these cars, at least not repeatedly, without putting yourself at serious risk for incident.
Yeah, I think Ben's been that lap now. We will do a lap on board once I've gone through what happened last time, just to refresh everybody's memories. Last time out we were at Zolder. It was a good race eventually. And Ty Simons won it. No surprises there. King of Stating the Obvious, Pete Bingham. JVZ came second, also for Paceworks, and Adam Watson, also for Paceworks. There was a theme last time, if you recall. Then Jamie Wilson came in fourth. He's not that high up the leaderboard at the minute, is he? I looked a minute ago. Oh no, he's jumped up a bit. He's in 10th overall at the moment. Then we had Martin Verschluven. Then some bloke called Tyler Newitt in 6th. Stuart Dick was 7th. Callum Mooney was 8th. Mark Heron was 9th. And Jonathan Foote, another Paceworks driver, was 10th. And what does that do to our standings? So, we'll talk pro first. I'm not going to tell you who's on top because it's obvious, and it's obvious by 300 points, over Paul Burgess, who is currently in 2nd. And that is with the drop rounds included. It's only when we get down to AAA that points get, with drop weeks included, makes a difference. Stuart Dick is in 3rd, Marcus Bletz in 4th, Abdul Al Amri in 5th, AAA, Marco Lower in 6th, Tom Sluter in 7th, Jamie Wilson in 8th, Tyler's in 9th, and Ben is in 10th. And then in AM, Barry van Engelenhoven is your AM leader at the moment. Baz Sluter in 2nd, Mark Heron in 3rd, Anthony Downs in 4th, Marcel Kempenaar in 5th, Frank T-Bosch in 6th, Simon Chester in 7th, Matt Snook in 8th, Stefan Goebel in 9th, and Callum Mooney in 10th. I think the only one that I'm very surprised about there is Stefan. I'd have expected him to be a lot higher up in that. Your opinion, Tyler?
Yeah, Stefan's definitely shown some flashes of pace this season. I think, consistency has been his issue. It almost seems as though that's been an issue for VTS on the whole this season. They've had pace at quite a few of the races and just kind of struggled to put the finishes together. Definitely they have had their share of good results. Certainly they've had some good qualifying efforts, though it's not looking like Laguna is one of their favorite tracks, with Stefan down in 13th and Marco in 14th, 10th in pro. So doesn't look like this is going to be a strong showing for VTS, but they obviously have the pace, the two of them. And we normally see Marcus in this series, don't we? I don't know where he is, unless I've just missed him on the timing sheet. I don't see him. So no Marcus Bletz this week for the VTS boys, but they're competent racers, I think, is what I'm trying to say. But it's tough to stand out when you're in a field of competent racers, which we certainly have here in the GTCC.
We are still getting people joining. I think Stuart Dick's got something wrong with his keyboard, because he said sorry on the chat in Sim about 4 million times. Mick Muller has joined, as has Chris Shaw, who I'm sure sent a message recently to say he couldn't do.
That was Adam.
And yeah. Oh, that was Adam, was it?
Yes.
Right, okay.
Yeah, Chris wasn't sure. Apparently, kid is is asleep. I'm gonna risk it, as he said on the YouTube chat.
Awesome. That's good then. Marco Loert with no buddy tonight. Or is he red as well? Marco's red, and where's Stefan? Where is Stefan?
Stefan is an AM.
I'm trying to find him on here.
On the timing sheets, he's one position ahead of Marco.
Oh, he is.
Yeah.
Yellow. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Marco and Marcus are red, aren't they? Yeah, that's right. Sorry, just me getting confused. No,
What
no
else is
surprises there. Yeah. So, Sam, challenge. Find someone who's going to do a full lap. And if Tyler's good to talk over this one, I'd appreciate it, because you probably know Laguna Seca a hell of a lot better than I do.
Sure, if we could find a Porsche, that'd be even better. Here we go. So on board with Callum Mooney, carrying a little more speed than I normally would into turns 1 and 2. You want to make sure you get that drive off, which he does. Braking just past the 2 here, and carrying as much speed as you can. You want to hug right up to that orange apex curb. You want to run a little wider there, ideally. Same deal through here. He runs nice and wide there, so that's a good line through that corner. All about carrying momentum through the first series of corners here at Laguna Seca. Same story, fourth verse uphill here. Run as wide as you can, carry as much speed to apex, and yet again, this is one of the toughest corners on the track, to be honest. In my opinion, it's more difficult than the corkscrew to get right, because there's just one line, and you've got to get it as close to the apex as possible, but you can't hit that curb into the corkscrew now. As we said, cut some of that right-hander. That's a good chunk of right-hand curb, rather, for Callum Mooney, but he keeps it under him. This is test and patience here, because you always want to get back to the throttle as soon as you can, but you can't risk running wide there. Good line through that corner. You can't run all the way out, because you got to set up for the final corner here, and that is a ridiculously quick lap in these cars. I was talking to Ben and Adam during practice, and there's just going to be no time to rest for these guys. I think this is going to be one of the most tiring races that these drivers are going to face this season in an hour and a half. There is absolutely no moment that you can rest easy. Even going down the front stretch, it's not straight, first of all, so you have to keep that in the back of your head, and it's probably one of the shortest on the schedule. So these guys are going to be working hard for an hour and a half, and would not be at all surprised to see some mistakes late in the race here, as drivers are getting a little bit fatigued.
Yeah, thanks for that, Tyler. Appreciate the insight into that. You drive these a lot more than I do. It's a great track, but you're right. I've done an endurance race here once in MX-5s, and I was exhausted at the end of it. And you're not even going that fast in an MX-5. You could probably sandwich going down the start-finish straight, and you haven't got time to blink in these cars. That was so quick. And they do a lot of Le Mans Series cars around here as well, don't they?
Yep. Yeah, it's a big one. The IMSA Series comes here a lot as well. But yeah, the toughest thing, I think, is that every one of these and it's part of why this track, I think, suits me so well, is I love kind of commitment corners, where it's really just a test of how much speed can you carry through the corner. In my book, in road racing, there's two real types of corners, and that's braking test corners and commitment test corners. And I've never been very good at braking, so I don't do well on tracks with a lot of corners that test your braking ability. But at Laguna Seca, it's all about commitment. It's all about how much speed can you carry through apex and still get set up for the next corner, which, is coming up in a matter of seconds.
Yeah. And that kink you were talking about, turn 6, that is critical, because everything that follows it is A, uphill, and B, that's quite a long straight, really, isn't it, leading up to the corkscrew. So if you're losing momentum all the way up the hill, people who are carried a lot of speed behind you are just going to do you straight away.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And not only is it a corner that you can't afford to take too slowly, because you'll get swallowed up into the corkscrew, which surprisingly is one of the best passing opportunities on the track. If you can get somebody lined up into the corkscrew, you can either get them on the entry or on the run off. And the track is a lot wider there than people think sometimes, I think. So, yeah, it's really important to get that run out of turn 6, but you can't cut it too tight, because you'll hit the red curb and launch off into the gravel. And you can't run it too wide, because you'll go wide and launch off into the gravel. as Ben goes for a spin there. Good catch.
Everybody's at it.
Yeah, that's Tice around as well. That was one of the result cars getting into him. So it's a wrecking yard of Porsches in turn 1. But no, it's such a tightrope act trying to navigate turn 6. And when you couple it with the fact that it's the corner that leads onto the second longest straight on the track into the corkscrew, it's mightily important. And the drivers who are successful today are going to get that corner right more times than they get it wrong. But everyone's going to get it wrong a few times.
Yeah, and we're watching Yaz are sometimes
I think that's Paul Burgess, actually.
It is.
In the Ferrari.
But I was interested in Yaz's Ferrari because it's red on red. There we go. I don't think I've ever seen that colour scheme before.
Well, I'm pretty sure that's what Yaz has had for the season. So, yeah,
maybe
if I'm not mistaken, but yeah, poor Yaz, I guess, not getting noticed. Yeah, that's one of the all the asymmetric liveries I think look pretty sharp, and I like what they do with their drivers, where they kind of have their choice of personal colors all fitting to the theme. I think that's a pretty great way to make sure your drivers stand out while also showing your kind of team spirit, I suppose. But yeah, that's a pretty neat one. There's Martin Brennan out of the hairpin onto the front stretch. Martin pretty far down the order, but the times are not all that far apart, to be perfectly honest. We do have some interlopers in the AM category reaching into the pro ranks. We talked about Mark Herron, another asymmetric driver there. We were talking before we came on air, and Mark definitely has the pace to be up with the pros, and it would not surprise me at all to see him in the pro category. Whoa, that's exactly what I've been talking about. Just catch a little too much of that right-hand curb where the track falls away. There's a BMW. I think that was Frank T-Bosch doing the exact same thing behind him. It was. So, but Mark up there, actually, I think nope, not the quickest, but the second quickest of the asymmetric drivers. Paul Burgess currently P2 overall, but quicker than pro teammate Stuart Dick and pro teammate Abdul Al-Amri. So, strong showing from Mark. Marcel Kempenaar, in the only Corvette in the field, is also reaching into the pro ranks, currently 9th overall, ahead of, among others, Abdul and Jamie Wilson and Marco Lewert.
And I tell you what, Ben's kind of dialed in, isn't he? 4th place at the minute.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with the setup that I put together for our Porsche team drivers. Unfortunately, Adam is having some computer issues and isn't able to make the race today, but it does seem like Ben is getting the most of the setup, and like he is getting in tune with Laguna Seca. He was complaining because he couldn't get into the 17s in practice, and I think he has done just fine for himself in qualifying with a 17.7. That's about a 10th off of the best lap that I did in practice on Friday. So strong showing from Mr. Cullen so far.
So, running order at the minute, just the top 5. Ty Simons has got...
Ben's pulling over to yell at us, probably.
Probably, yeah. Ty Simons, your provisional pole man, on a 117.11. Paul Burgess in second on a 117.45. Tom is on a 117.51. Ben's done a 117.74, but he's not that far away from JVZ on a 117.78. Only 400ths in those. So it very much is tight at the top. 1 second covers the top 9. Ooh, that was a bit of a sideways lock-up from Tom Sluter going up the hill.
Yeah, there's a few corners that are like that, where if you carry just a little bit too much speed and you try and get it turned in, the track doesn't do you any favors, and you kind of end up in that 4-wheel slide like we just saw from Tom Sluter. As you mentioned, Tom well up the order showing some serious pace in that Porsche this week.
And Ben says he had to pull over because you actually said something nice about him. He was in shock.
No, I only pretend to hate Ben when it's convenient for the broadcast and entertaining.
Yeah. Good evening to Mary Jackson as well. David Ayres is watching but not participating. And Chris has now joined the race, so that's the other ones chatting in there. Don't forget to give us a like. Here's Chris Shaw. He's had no practice, so he's an arrive and drive for this evening.
Yeah, Chris hasn't
Hasn't
really put together a competitive lap yet. We've seen Chris arrive and drive to great success before in the GT4 TCR series, but I think this field is pretty strong, and Chris is going to struggle to work his way forward in the race today.
Oh, and look who's just arrived. Marcus Blett.
The third of the VTS trio.
Awesome.
We haven't really seen any of the VTS America drivers this season, have we?
No, we haven't. Are they registered?
Well, JT McClintock was at the first race, and I think one of their other guys was as well, but they haven't turned up for the last few, I don't think, so.
Let's see. Under the for V. Jezza McClintock should be buddying up with Stefan, but he is the only one actually.
Okay.
Yeah, because there was a few last season, wasn't there?
Yeah, a little bit of a shame for those guys, but the Germany guys put in a serious effort for all of the series that they run. So.
Yeah, they really do. They're very dedicated to it. Let's just hope we don't go to Nürburgring because Stefan will do another blistering lap round there.
Yeah, his pace in the GT4 was unbelievable there.
It was frightening.
Yeah.
Nobody should be that good. Ever. Oh, that's a bit wide in the background there from AAA. Gathered it together.
AAA not really finding front-running pace this week. Don't know if it's a little bit down on practice time or just not a fan of the track, but a bit off of his asymmetric teammates, the pro guys, Stuart, Paul, and of course Mark Heron, who we mentioned, all in the top 7.
Yep.
AAA back in 10th.
And we've seen it before from AAA. He's good at making his way through the field, though, isn't he? And occasionally avoiding disaster, but he's been in some massive disasters as well. So it's a bit of a lottery for AAA.
Yeah, he'll be able to, if he can keep it clean, he'll be able to move forward. That's for sure. He's definitely capable of running solid race pace, as we see. Our fellow commentator and another asymmetric driver, Yaz Samai, improving there to 8th in AN, 17th overall, jumps the VTS pair. And he is right behind the other asymmetric AM driver, Callum Mooney, who currently sits in 7th.
Frank T-Bosch navigating the corkscrew another time. I once saw a picture of a car just parked on the corkscrew. I think it was a media stunt or something. And that's when I realised how... It doesn't feel like it's a massively wide piece of track, does it? Because there's pretty much like 1 and a bit lines through it. But when you see a car on it, it's lost because the track is that wide there. It's massive.
It's what I was saying before. Yeah, you definitely can make an overtake happen there because there is room for 2 cars. You're not going to be running the quick line if you do, but you definitely can make 2 cars into the corkscrew work. Certainly, we've seen it done before. It does take a little bit of cooperation, though, on the part of the driver being overtaken, because they can definitely make your life difficult, and you run the risk of ending 2 races with 1 move. But solid effort in qualifying from Frank. He's up 5th in AM and right on the back of Jamie Wilson, who's no slouch at all.
No, and Jamie I expected to be a bit higher up, but again, he's another one who saves it for the race, isn't he? Makes his way through the field. Whoa! Oh, look at that.
Yeah, that's what I was saying about that turn 6.
Yeah.
I don't know if Tice intended on making that corner or not, but you saw him. You saw him clip that apex curbing, the red curb, and just absolutely launch that car. I think he still would have probably ended up in the tire barrier, but it wouldn't have been quite as dramatic. So,
and I don't think anybody is still on track at the minute. There's Frank, just finished his lap, I think. He's actually done really well. He's 5th in AM. That's a great lap from Frank.
I did just mention that.
Did you?
Yeah.
I should pay attention. I was too busy saluting Lord Switzer, who has ordered us to shape up.
Oh dear.
So, what have we got temperature-wise? It's not moved. It's not likely to in just half an hour, is it? I don't know what the actual race track temperature will be. We'll find out in about 2 seconds, I think. And I'm going to jump to the stream so that I can see the order before it's having to display it on there. Do you want to start us off?
Sure. So on pole, surprise, surprise, it's Tice Simons for Paceworks Esports. Starting 2nd is Paul Burgess for Asymmetric. Tom Sluter starts 3rd for Dutchies Esports Charlie. Ben Cullen, a solid effort in 4th for BSTV Esports Yellow. That would be JVZ in 5th for Paceworks. Mark Heron 6th for Amsymmetric. Stuart Dick starts 7th for Asymmetric. Martin Verschluven in 8th for Dutchies Esports Alpha. Marcel Kempenaar starts 9th for Dutchies Esports Charlie. Abdul Al-Emery, another asymmetric driver, starts in 10th. Barry Van Englenhoven starts 11th for Dutchies Esports Bravo. Michael Muller starts in 12th for Black Box Sim Racing.
And then we've got Jamie Wilson for Team Chimera in 13th. Hope it's not unlucky for Jamie. Frank T. Bosch goes off 14th for Work Guard by Result. Larry DeLonge goes off 15th for Dutchies Esports Alpha, with Callum Mooney to his left in 16th for Amsymmetric. 17th is Yaz Samai for Amsymmetric, with 18th being Stefan Goebel for VTS Yellow. 19th is Marco Lewert in the sister team for VTS Red in 19th. Baz Sluter goes off 20th for Dutchies Esports Bravo, with Matt Snook in the row behind in 21st for Team Black Diamond, and Stein Hendricks in 22nd for Dutchies Gaming. Carl Hardy is 23rd for Safeguard by Result, and Simon Chester is in 24th for Team Black Diamond. 25th is Martin Brennan for Safeguard by Result. Chris Shaw on an arrive and drive in 26th for BSTV Esports Green. Colin McAllister for Team Black Diamond 2 will go off 27th. And at the back of the field, and I don't think he's gridded.
He's gridded, but he didn't set a time in qualifying.
He has gridded, though, right? That's good.
Yes.
So we get a full lap here. I don't think they've remapped this track for a while, have they?
No, this is definitely one of the oldest tracks on iRacing. So I did, Pete, do some strategy calculations.
Yeah, I let you do your calculations. I wasn't going to call you out on that.
Yeah. No, that's fine. By my math, based on my practice running, you should see drivers able to go about 30, 31 laps if they're going flat out, and I'm expecting a 68 lap race roundabout. So I don't know if fuel saving is going to be an option, just because there's not a ton of places to save around here. without losing a massive chunk of time. And the drivers would probably need to save about 3 laps per stint in order to really make it on the one stopper. So would expect a 2 stopper. I'm sure a lot of guys will split it up evenly. Some might go for the 2 full stints with the splash and dash. I would say the pit window is going to open right about lap 5 or 6.
Yeah, you get quite a big pit window in this one, don't you?
Yeah, assuming it's a 2 stopper. If you're trying to make it on the 1 stop, your pit window is very limited.
Right.
But I would be rather surprised to see anyone attempt that. Well, at least anyone kind of in the front towards the pro field as they make their way around the final corner with the field forming up behind them.
Yeah, pace car is already in pit lane, so let's see when Tice goes. He's gone. He's gone.
It's a good jump for Tice. The top 4 are nice and orderly. It's JVZ versus Mark Herron for 5th. Now they sort it out. Stewart pulls out to make a pass on his M-Class teammate, so that'll be 6th for Stuart Dick. That's a good start for him.
That's a great start for Ben Cullen. He was like a rat up a drain pipe into the first hairpin. He's now in 3rd.
That's a good point. I didn't even see you make the move on Tom Sluter, but yes, he is up past the Dutchies driver. Here's a couple of drivers going at it. That is Abdul Berry and Mick Muller.
Somebody's off.
Yeah, that is Stewart, isn't it? Yeah, that's the green asymmetric Ferrari. So what's happened to Stewart here?
Let's have a look.
Oh.
Brake bias or just too quick?
No, that's, well, partly brake bias, yes, but that's Stewart trying to make some ground up. Got deep into that corner, and JVZ, I think, was a bit slower in than he expected, so Stewart locked it down to avoid hitting JVZ, which is, good sportsmanship there, but unfortunately for Stewart, spins him off, and he's going to be on a recovery drive from here, I think. Chris Shaw is already up to 18th place from 3rd to last on the grid. Not entirely sure how he's done that.
Fantastic paint job from Stein Hendricks there.
That's a move for 4th place. JVZ, that's Joachim van Zuylen on Tom Sluter.
Sorry, I've just processed what you said about Chris Shaw. Yeah, where the hell's that come from? AAA, currently in 9th place. Up 1 position with, I think that's with Stewart losing it and checking himself down the order.
Yeah, I'm showing Marcus Bletz in the pits, but he did complete a lap, so not sure what's going on there for Marcus. Maybe he loaded in with his qualifying fuel setup, I don't know.
Yeah.
So be the first driver to have done that, but... Oh, no, that is not... that is... Oh my goodness.
Oh my word.
That's another... VTS wreck for the iRacing highlight reels. I didn't even see how that started.
So he's on his own.
Yeah.
There's a car off on the right.
Yeah, I think that is his teammate, actually, Stefan Goebel, who was well off the field. He's doesn't seem up to pace here. I'm not sure everything is right technically with Marcus Bletz.
No. He looked very erratic driving down a straight road. Like he's on a 360 controller or something.
Yeah, well, continue watching this replay, but something... No, that's just... Yeah, there's definitely some sort of technical issue for Marcus.
And since when did they make Porsches out of rubber?
I don't know, but something's happened to Jamie Wilson and Stefan Goebel, who are both now 26th and 27th. Not sure about that. Yeah, Samai has also dropped through the field, so maybe all those drivers in one incident. That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying about that corner being a test in patience, though, because it really feels like you want to pick up the throttle earlier than you can. As we see Stewart working his way back through, trying to make a move on Simon Chester into the corkscrew, but that's not going to happen. And this is the battle for the AM podium. You can see Mark Herron in the lead up the road. Oh, that was close between Marcel Kempenaar and Mick Muller.
Just a reminder that he was there, I think.
Yeah. Now this is JVZ on Ben Cullen for third place. So the Paceworks driver moving forward, but Ben fights him off.
Yeah, he's on the optimal side of the track there.
And that is great battling from Ben, because there's a lot of places around Laguna Seca that allow you to position your car like that to defend and overtake, and Ben's done a great job there. I think the Paceworks driver is going to get him before too long, but this is not the corner to do it. I think just showing himself in Ben's mirror a little bit there, but Ben got a great run through turn 6 and onto the straight here, so he should be all right into the corkscrew.
Yeah, Ben's dropped back from Paul Burgess and Ty Simons by 3 seconds. Actually, Ty Simons has got himself a 3-second lead.
Yeah, I think having to defend will be part of the reason that Ben is so far off of Paul. I don't think there's that much of a gulf in their pace. As we see a battle here between Barry van Englenhoven and Abdul Al-Amri. So Abdul hasn't really been able to work forward at all. Still sitting 10th and 7th in pro. Both of those are where he started. This battle is still going on. Ben, JVZ, and the 2 Dutchies cars. Tom Sluter's been one of the big losers who hasn't been in an incident. He's down 2 spots from where he started without any additional trouble. The drivers who have dropped more positions than him, who have all had a number of issues: Stuart Dick, Yaz Samaye, Jamie Wilson, Carl Hardy's down a couple of spots, and Stefan Gogol.
Don't understand why Carl's back there, but never mind.
Yeah.
And Mick Muller is up 4 places. He's been picking them up and putting them down.
Yeah, and now he's got himself second in AM and chasing down Mark Herron, who currently has the AM class lead and 7th overall.
Mick Muller's not had the look of the the run of the something or other, I don't know. In recent races, he's ended up crashing out or getting crashed into. So yet to finish in a decent position, I think, for Mick.
Yes, indeed. Ben doing an impressive job here. Aside from that one look we saw into turn 1, JVZ hasn't really had the opportunity to take a look at Ben. He's kind of kept him at arm's length, which is good. Shows that even though it looks as though Ben is kind of holding up this pack, he definitely has the pace to be where he is.
Getting a good launch off these corners.
Yeah, I think that's one of the strong suits of the Porsche around here. You can no! Oh dear, I said too many nice things.
Yeah, I think so.
That's my mistake. Sorry, Ben.
So, fast repair required for Ben Cullen.
Oh, we got a nice slow-mo shot here from Sam.
It's a good one. Yep.
And that is
front.
A very solid concrete wall. Now, the good news for Ben, as I mentioned early on, is that this is when the pit window is opening. So he's still circulating in 11th place. He can pit now, and likely, I don't want to commit to anything in case Ben is listening, which we know he is, but he should be able to do 2 full fuel stints and make it to the end of the race from here if he pits now. So he is in pit lane. He'll take that fast repair. It's not the ideal strategy by any stretch of the imagination, but definitely not game over at this point for Ben Cullen.
No, we saw Marcel Kempenaar there losing it at the final turn and going off into the dirt. He's now given up that position to Callum Mooney. And Mick Muller picks up another place that he's not had to fight for. He's up 5 now.
I assume that's Marcus Bletz has just posted in the chat, was not able to repeat the pit stop crash on my gamepad, which I think pretty much tells the entire story in one sentence.
Yep.
on what was going on there.
He did look switchy, and I did say it looked like he was driving on a 360 controller.
Yep.
Is he just trying to get in, not the top 10 every month?
Perhaps, yeah.
I think he's going to do well to beat the car from last night that went to stratospheric.
Yeah, that was... I'd be surprised if that doesn't make those highlight videos, because that was something else. But this M-Class lead battle is not quieting down. In fact, it's heating up. Mark Herron about a tenth quicker than Mick Muller that time around, but the two Ferraris seem very evenly matched around this track at the moment.
Yep. I think he's getting a little bit of tow from Martin Verschluten in front of him.
Definitely possible. I'm not sure that that's really going to do anything around here.
All right. Okay.
The only place it's really going to help you. Yeah, no, there's too many turns, and the only place it really helps you is down the front stretch, as we see Abdul dipping his toes in the sand. He continues on, though, unlike Ben Cullen, who has, I will say, rejoined the track in 23rd place, working his way through the field. Now, the tough part for Ben here, that's the move we were talking about, a good run out of turn 6.
No! There's Mark gone.
Well, Mark's had some choice words in the chat, but I hate to say it, but it seemed all of his doing there.
Yeah, I don't think there was any contact.
No. And that's, it's a tough place to make a move, but it's absolutely legitimate. And not only that, but Mick Muller had backed out of that one before Mark Herron went for his slide. So I think Mark Herron will look back on that one and realize that maybe that was more of his own doing than he thought. But unfortunate, considering he had pretty tremendous pace, he now finds himself quite a ways down the order.
We are seeing a few of the really fast guys having really big problems here tonight. And Mick's got himself another asymmetric car to deal with now. Oh, Yaz, that looks an unhappy Ferrari.
And an unhappy Porsche in front of him. I'm wondering if there was a coming together of the VTS car of Stefan Goebbels and the asymmetric car of Yaz Samai, because they've both got some damage there.
Yeah. The front of Yaz's car and the rear of of Stefan's car.
Yeah. No, we don't think so. So,
no, okay.
Independent issues then. Here is the battle for 11th place. And yes, that is Chris Shaw, who is up 14 positions from his starting spot already, looking for another on Larry DeLange.
So, points note, boys. Don't bother practicing.
That's what the race is for, right?
Yeah. Qualifying. That's what qualifying's for. Get a sighting lap in, you're fine.
Yep. I think Chris is going to do him here. He definitely seems to have the pace.
Lots of overspeed, yeah.
Yeah, that's the only place the toe is really going to help you, is up that front straight. Oh, that's Marcel Kempenaar in the Corvette.
Again?
Around in the Andretti hairpin. That looked to be on his own, but we'll see if I am correct about that.
You are, unless the car in front, which is... I should know who that is. That's Callum. No, he's all in there.
Yeah, just carried too much speed. Did good to get clear of the oncoming traffic.
So that's the second time that Marcel has lost it on his own. He did it into the last turn not that long ago. So
yep.
I don't know whether he needs to dial something back or make a change. Not sure.
Yeah, the interesting thing, Pete, is we're seeing these drivers making mistakes, but they're really not losing all that much in terms of track position. Obviously, the ones who have to come down pit lane for repairs are, like a Ben Cullen. But for some of these other drivers, it's not proved all that costly. As you mentioned, we've seen Marcel have 2 spins, but he's still running 12th, 5th in AM, and only down 3 spots from where he started. So lots going on. And it seems to be affecting everybody.
Apart from Tice Simon.
Yes, well, that is a valid point, as Tice finds himself, I'm showing about 7 seconds clear in the race lead. So that's a little over a half a second per minute of racing, which is substantial. Yeah, that's a pretty quick driver, I think is how you put that.
Yeah, definitely. We should put the camera on him for no more than 5 seconds, just so that people can see that there he is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, get rid of him.
And there is your weekly Ty Simons content. Barry Van Englenhoven has had an off in turn 6. Did he go too wide, or did he cut it too close? I'm guessing by the front end of that Ford, he clipped that curb, unless it was already like that. Nope, there it is.
Oh, there you go. Good call. Well spotted.
And that has cost him a number of spots. He's now down 3 positions to 14th overall, 6th in AM.
Have you been to Laguna?
In person, no, not yet. I'm hoping to in the next year or two, now that I'm a bit closer to it, geographically speaking, but no, I haven't.
I bet it's quite a dramatic track to get to, and it hopefully you can get round the tractor view as well, not just in grandstands and things.
I'm pretty sure you can walk like straight across the track, because there's the bridge at the corkscrew, so you can kind of walk all the way from the top of the hill to the bottom, down by where the front stretch is. So yeah, as far as I'm aware, it's pretty accessible. As we see Stuart Dick continuing to work his way forward. Oh, don't go side by side through there.
No. Oh, he's managed to make it work.
Yeah,
when I say
that's
make
a
it
tough
work,
call,
I mean,
but
didn't die. Yeah.
I think if I were Stuart, I might have backed out of that one, but hard to fault him for wanting to get back to the front where he knows he has the pace to be.
Yeah, maybe he just wants some camera footage, because that's the way to go about it.
Yeah. I think there are safer ways to do that, Pete. That's not the best option, but here is Barry Van Englenhoven and Frank Tibosh. Frank up 1 spot from his already solid starting position to 13th.
Here comes Stuart again.
Yeah, this has the feeling of inevitability to it.
Ooh,
no, Barry! No. Come on now.
Oh, and there's a bit
and
of
yeah, Marco Lewert has unfortunately been... Oh, Barry.
That's Mark Heron.
Yeah, so Barry Van Englenhoven not making too many friends there. In fact, managing to probably make several enemies in the span of a few seconds.
Yeah, he got this all wrong. I'm not sure how. He's taken... Oh, it's a send, isn't it, really?
That's... yeah, I don't think that was on for Barry. And then this was ill-advised as well.
No.
Yeah, you'd be better off... He could have just continued onto the pit exit road and continued from there instead of trying to spin it back around. So
we saw Marcel do that, didn't we? Which is the safer option.
Yeah, now he's getting some headlight flashes from Mark Heron, who he had the contact with rejoining. Yeah, some... Oh, was that Frank?
I think it might have been. It was
it was.
Exercise style.
So Frank, who is doing excellently, is, I guess, the second victim of my commentator's curse tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just missed that one. Missed the braking zone completely. Kept it out of the wall, though. So he'll continue on. Ooh, careful. And Ben Cullen says thank you. Picks up another spot. I've been trying to keep an eye on Ben's lap time, and they're very quick. But the problem is, I think he had a few laps right after he left the pits where he was in traffic that might set him back. But it'll be interesting once all the strategy shakes out to see where Ben ends up, because he's basically on one extreme end of the strategy window. So will be interesting to see. But Stewart's still trying to find a way around Marcel Kempenaar. This has not been sorted yet, and they've both caught up to Larry DeLange in the Ferrari, another Dutchies driver.
Yeah, and they've caught him quite quickly, unless he had some incident. There was nothing but empty track in front of them not that long ago.
Yeah, I think that's just pace. The two of them were about a second quicker than Larry the last time around.
Oh, no.
Oh, Marcel.
He's thrown it.
Oh, dear.
Oh, that's a wall.
Oh. Hopefully the tire barriers are a little gentler than the concrete walls, but yeah, Stewart says thank you and moves on through.
That was just taking the tyre off the track again. It's not very grippy, the sand, is it?
No, generally it is the opposite of that. But
right, so
No.
Stewart's got another Dutchie's car to dispatch now.
yeah, he sets his sights on Larry DeLang. I think this one might be over a little quicker. But that said, points aren't paid out by class, they're paid out by overall position finish. So it is in Larry's interest to maintain position if he thinks he can. Oh, Stewart. Bit of a wait. Did he catch the curb there? That was weird.
So I think he thought that. He was trying to dive into the kink again, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And I think he thought that he was going to get his nose chopped off, which probably would have happened. So he bailed on it, I think. Oh, I don't know.
That's kind of interesting. Yeah, Larry left him plenty of room there.
Was he still braking as he was turning? Is that it?
It could be. Yeah, it's possible. Now here is Stein Hendricks, who is up 10 spots from his starting position, and currently sits 4th in the AM class.
He's got
no. What's happened to Carl? Is that turn 6? Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. It didn't look like he was damaged.
Oh, nope. That's that's that red curb and the tire barriers.
Yeah.
So he's bent up both sides of the front of that Porsche.
Now it's even. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Balances it out. Here's Ben on Baz Sluter as he continues to work his way back forward.
Boys, I'm gonna leave you 2 minutes. I need some painkillers. I'll be back shortly.
Of course, yeah.
Yep.
So I'm busy doing cameras with a broken arm at the moment, so sympathies to Ben and lots of encouragement from everybody.
Did you say sympathies to Ben?
Sam, yeah, I'm watching Ben, so dear, my brain just can't do this. 2 people.
Don't worry, Pete. There's only one more broadcast in the next 24 hours, and then you can
awesome
sleep for a few days.
Yeah, I will as well.
Now, Baz's times aren't terrible, but they will be slower than Ben would like to be doing at this stage in the race. Just kind of looking at the kind of the back half of the pro field. Everybody in the high teens, low 19s. Ben's lap last time around was a 19.5, so he'll want to get this move done as soon as he can, because I think this lap's going to be a little slower still. And he should have a good run into turn 1 here as he pops to the inside.
Yeah, he was over a second faster on the last lap. So this should be done now, providing they're both safe into the hairpin at the bottom here. Andretti, is it?
Yep, the Andretti hairpin, and Baz lets him have it. Gives Ben a little bit of clean air to see what sort of lap times he can put down, which is not something he's had for a little bit since he made his mistake earlier on.
No, he's got a little bit of work to do because he's got 3.5 seconds to Marco Loert further up the road.
Yeah, the one benefit that Ben will see is he, and we were kind of you were touching on this in the Enduro last night. Ben took his short stop first. And in this race, we are going to see everybody have a short stop. So what that means is, as far as track position is concerned, after the first pit sequence, Ben will probably be forward of where he might end up. But that should mean that he finds himself in some clean air. What'll be interesting to watch is, as we are about 7 minutes from the third distance point, is to see if anyone tries to kind of split the race into thirds and take a couple slightly shorter but slightly longer than what Ben did stops.
Yeah.
Because that will give you some good track position for the second stint, and you hope that with that track position you can pull enough of a gap to make up for the slightly longer pit stop you're going to have in the third stint compared to people doing splashes and dashes. So definitely will be interesting to watch this all play out. I think we're really going to start seeing people head for the pits in about 7 minutes' time.
And tyres are not going to be an issue here, are they?
It's a fair question. And what I didn't do was a long enough stint to get a very good sense of tire wear. So I can't speak from a position of knowledge on that. What I can say is that at Zolder there was a massive spread of tire wear. I think my worst tire was down around 30% after an hour and a half. And I saw some people posting in the Discord their tire getting close to single digits. So I don't honestly know what the wear level is like at Laguna Seca compared to Zolder, but nobody will be taking tires. I can't believe unless unless it really they really abuse them. But wear could definitely play a factor before the race is over.
So I feel like it wasn't that long ago I said that Ben had 3.5 seconds to Marco, and he's now on him.
Yes, Ben is definitely the quickest of the cars he's racing around right now, which is a bit surprising when you look at the cars he's racing around. Marco Lewert, Mark Herron, Jamie Wilson, all doing time in either the high 19s, low 20s, or above, where Ben is quicker than that, and he slips through on Marco there. That was a good move.
Yeah, Marco actually got out of the way to let him through.
Yep.
So I think there's other things going on for Marco Lewert right now.
I think those other things are making it to the end of the race.
Yeah.
I haven't talked to Marco about this, but I get the sense that this is not a track that he particularly likes.
Right. Okay.
Because he is normally, well, he's normally further up the order than this is the only way you can really put it. Same goes for Jamie Wilson. These are guys that you would expect to be much higher up in the running order and recovering from trouble easier than they have been.
Yeah, it's handed a few positions out to some other people here, so further up the field than they normally are. Callum Mooney is in second place in AM at the moment, up 8 places. Chris Shaw up 17 places from the start of the race. That's bizarre.
Well, Chris's start we've documented well, but you're absolutely right that there are a lot of other drivers in there. Stein Hendricks is one of them, Matt Snoop, who we're looking at right now. Guys who have, just had clean races and picked up the spots when they came their way.
There is Stein Hendricks on your screen. Quite an elaborate paint scheme. Almost looks like it's got half a MIP file on it.
I think it's got the default paint spec map on it.
Right.
I would imagine that was a late submission and the default paint spec didn't get cleared, because I'm pretty sure that's what that is.
Oh, okay.
So someone will have to send a message to Marco so we can issue paint pack version 27.
So this is James.
Marco, it's maybe on my side.
Oh, do you think?
Yeah.
Sorry, shouldn't have.
As I'm a bit, slow these days, I've not cleared the folders before putting on the paint pack, so maybe it's the old mid 5 basically. So I'm just gonna check this and remove it and reload the paint.
So apologies to Marco for throwing him under the bus there when it was Sam's fault.
We've got to give Sam some sympathy for soldiering on with his broken arm, still clicking buttons with it. So,
do we though?
On this occasion, yeah. He
didn't break his hand, I feel like he could theoretically still use his fingers on his right hand. So,
well, I can use my fingers, but they're just touching my tendons. So,
and I think
this is the only thing I can do with them. So,
I think there's one particular finger that he can use for you.
Yeah, it's already pointing towards the screen.
Yeah.
So, yeah, exactly.
Who's this?
A refresh?
Who is it? Oh, we've got lesser spotted Stacey in the booth at the minute. She's muted at the moment. Does that mean, therefore, that that Martin is out? I don't think he is. I think he's still in the race, isn't he?
Yeah, no, he's continuing on.
Yep.
26th at the moment.
Maybe she's tapped into her neighbour's Wi-Fi. So yeah, Stein Hendricks up 10 places. That's impressive. His next target is 3rd place in AM. He is 4th place in AM at the minute. 3rd place in AM, Larry DeLonge. Not that far away. Just under a second in front of him.
And in the dirt. Yeah. So getting closer, ever closer is Stein Hendricks, and he is sniffing an AM class podium. He has definitely been quicker than Larry DeLang, and I think that position maybe Stein's before too long here.
Without a doubt, he's gaining on him quite a lot now. And even more, because that was a fairly wide line from the Ferrari.
Now these are teammates, even though Stein's paint scheme looks quite a bit different. He is a Dutchies guy, so I would imagine they might be in communications with each other.
Yeah, get out of the way.
And then Barry behind both of them is probably telling them both to get out of the way. But
absolutely. A good day for Dutchies, 3rd, 4th and 5th in AM. That's good results.
Yep, plus Tom Sluter and Martin Versluven, 4th and 5th overall.
Yep.
Yeah, aside from that unfortunate incident we saw with, I guess it was Barry, wasn't it, in turn 1. It's been a strong showing from them.
We're watching Stefan Goebel, who's catching Frank T-Bosch. Oh dear, Mick.
And that's the AM class leader. He's just gone long at turn 1, it looks like.
Yep. Oh, let's get onto the stream.
He was getting let through on a one of the AM class BMWs. I think that might have been Simon Chester. I'm not sure, but just missed his braking point. I think focused too much on the BMW.
Yeah.
Nosed into the wall a little bit, and now finds himself still 2nd in AM, but right not too far up the road from this battle for 3rd.
Good evening, gents. How are we doing?
Hello, Stacey.
Hello, Stacey.
How you doing?
We're doing all right. It's an incident-ridden race so far.
I've heard.
Yeah, lots of individual off-tracks. And a few bad rejoins and bits and pieces. And welcome to Laguna Seca.
This is the battle for 5th, Martin Versluven and Abdul Al-Amri. And we have jumped away because Sam doesn't like me.
Yeah, sorry, there's 2 massive battles going on, you know.
Yeah, the battle for 5th overall and the battle for 3rd in AM.
On the sand, is it?
Oh, Martin. Oh, nearly came back on into the side of Mark Aaron. Oh, Stefan.
That's Frank going round.
Yeah, into the rear, and Stefan's waited for him to clear that position. He's trying to get out of the way of Yaz at the moment, I think.
He was going to give it back, but then Frank pulled over to the side of the road.
No, I think Stefan was sitting middle of the road and didn't want to get in Yaz's way. But
right.
As you mentioned, yeah, now Frank has fallen off. But definitely on Stefan there, as Jamie Wilson is trying to work his way through this M class battle.
Yep, straight around the outside of Barry, who gives him plenty of room.
Just looking at lap times in clean air now, while a lot of the leaders are working through lap traffic, Ben did an 18.9 last time around. Tice did a 17.9, but he doesn't count. Paul Burgess was on a 19.3, JVZ on an 18.7, so kind of get a sense of where those lap times are. I'm a little bit surprised we haven't seen anyone dug for pit lane yet. Colin McAllister is in. We've also seen Martin in somewhat recently, but no one towards the front, as we've just passed over 1/3 distance in this race. So I guess we are going to see people kind of stretch it a little further on the fuel here and do a splash and dash at the end.
Guys, I can confirm that Martin is now out.
Oh dear.
That's a shame. What's the cause of that then?
His words, I've had enough.
Okay.
I was going to say, it seemed a bit like general frustration to me.
Yeah.
Not a specific incident.
Back, yeah.
When he gets 2 minutes, I'll get him to pop in and pop in the booth and have a chat.
Yeah, definitely.
Good.
Are you familiar with Laguna Seca, Stacey? No,
It's a track that I definitely want to visit. I like what I see on the screen in regards to the sim racing, but of course I want to see it in real life. This is one of the tracks we were talking about last night, actually.
Yeah, well, as Jamie Wilson piles the pressure onto Stein Hendricks.
Yeah, I think Jamie would really like to get through here, but he just doesn't have the pace that we normally see from him.
Tell you what, the roll on the BMW is so much more obvious than it is on the other vehicles, isn't it?
Yeah, you're not wrong there. It's probably got a somewhat higher center of gravity than most of the other GTE cars, so not all that surprising. Now Jamie pulls to the inside of Stein to make that move.
Nice and clean. Made it obvious.
Sorry, Pete. I was just going to say, Tice has done his fastest lap of the races. It's more trouble for Mick Muller. Oh, careful, careful.
Don't hit the next car.
Yeah, that will have been a little scary for Ben Cullen.
Yeah, I would think so. Just tyre off. Yeah. Ooh, and then straight into that bottom of the bridge there.
Yeah, and then, well, did well to accelerate quickly to get out of the way, but and then at this point it got a little hairy.
No, he gassed it to get out of the track, didn't he?
Yep.
So, fair enough for that one. Is that Ben locking up in front?
I don't think it was. I didn't see who it was that put up the dust cloud, but don't think it was a lockup.
No, Ben's next victim on the road is Matt Snook, just on your screens now.
Yeah, Mick Muller coming into the pits now. He'll be able to take his fast repair and do his scheduled service.
Martin Bishop-Leuven is... Oh, no, forget it, ignore me, it's just SDK conning me into thinking that he was pitting.
I think... that was Larry DeLange off the road, and Jamie Wilson will take that spot, which moves him into the top 10 overall.
Thank you very much, says Jamie.
Yeah, I think the other thing to consider that I wasn't thinking about at the moment, or in the moment, as far as strategy goes, and the reason we're not seeing people stop, try and break the race up evenly, is because these cars do get quicker as the fuel comes out of them. They do gain a significant amount of time on low fuel, as we have seen with Tice continuing to set blistering lap times.
They are eye-watering at the minute.
Yeah, so filling it full of fuel without running the tank dry is probably not optimal for pace. The only situation you might find yourself coming in early would be probably to get yourself out of traffic. But around here, you run the risk of putting yourself in faster traffic if you end up a bit further back in the pack.
And a key overtake for Stein Hendricks just before, taking second place in AM from Larry DeLange.
Yeah, absolutely right. They're all a bit of a ways down the road from Callum Mooney, who seems to be the only AM-class driver who has had a quiet race in the good sense, you know, a quiet race with limited issues. I don't think we've seen Callum once, which is a good sign for him. Oh, first of our pit callers, Abdul Al-Amri. And we are on race lap 30 now, so we're just about at the limit of what cars can do pushing flat out. So would expect to see the majority of the field in the next lap or two.
Okay.
And this will...
There's a Porsche in the background in pit road.
Yeah, that'll be Abdul.
No, it's no. Go back one from that.
Was it Carl?
There we go, Carl Hardy.
I think this looks like scheduled service for Carl.
It is, but and then someone spun in the foreground. This is what this is what I saw.
Yes,
and then
that's. He will get a penalty for that, I'm sure.
Yeah, but then he ends up in the tyres, I think. Yeah.
It's not been a good day for the result drivers, has it?
No, and he's about to do a handy 400-point turn to get that back round. He's just
the onboard shot here.
Way late. Can't turn at all.
Regarding pit strategy, Paul Burgess is in the pit lane. So definitely we are seeing guys getting to the end of their fuel stints. We'll be very interested to see who goes longer even than some of these drivers. Martin Versluven's in, Tom Sluter is in, as Stein Hendricks has had a spin and will surrender the M-class positions he worked so hard for.
Yeah, that was in the foreground before when we were talking about Carl. So he's out a second there, so that's a big loss to him, isn't it?
Yeah, so at the moment, Pete, the drivers who have extended their stint are the two Paceworks drivers, Tice and JVZ, and Chris Shaw. Everybody else has entered the pits. That's Paul Burgess, Tom Sluter, Martin Versluven, Callum Mooney, Stuart Dick, Jamie Wilson. So everybody's running their tanks dry. And the Paceworks are getting some decent fuel economy, as is Chris Shaw.
Here comes Tice Simons, the race leader.
Ooh, he got awfully close to the tire wall himself.
He did, yeah.
Some of the AM-class leaders, Barry Van Englenhoven, Larry DeLang, also staying out, so they've been able to save a little bit of fuel. Interesting Ben status update. He's come out a couple of seconds behind Abdul Al-Amri, who was running, I believe, in 5th. So, a net couple of position loss for Ben, although he will have to take a longer final pit stop than everybody else. So, that's how that's all shaken out. Both of the Paceworks drivers are in. Would expect Chris Shaw to be in as well. But we shall see. Maybe Chris is going to be the one to try and make it a one-stopper. I would be surprised if he had figured that out on the no practice strategy, and indeed he comes into the pit lane. So the only drivers who have yet to pit that I'm showing, Barry Van Englenhoven, Larry DeLang, Matt Snook, Mark Herron. Everybody else has been in the pit lane. And Yaz has also not pit. Here is that battle we were talking about, Abdul Al-Amri and Ben Cullen. And this is looking like it's going to be the battle for 4th, so I'm not sure who had issues in the pit sequence. Martin Versluven and Tom Sluter both
they were
down a couple of positions. Their pit times are all right, so it would have had to have been an in or out lap issue for those two.
It's easy to get a penalty on the entry to pit road here, though.
Yeah, but they were both stopped in their stall for the same as everybody else. So
okay.
Yeah, no penalties for those two. Just slow in lap, evidently, because if I'm not mistaken, they were ahead of Abdul Al-Amri before that sequence of pit stops. At least Tom was. He's been the biggest loser. Callum Mooney, I believe, was also 7th at the start of this pit sequence, so his only spot lost will have been to Ben Cullen there.
Any observations so far, Stacey? Or is she not there anymore? Oh, she's muted. So, yep.
So no observations from Stacey, but
None
that's
at
fine. So this is the battle for 2nd overall, which is going to be the more hotly contested of the podium positions. JVZ and Paul Burgess. We saw JVZ able to extend it that extra lap. Yaz, the last of the cars to make their pit stop, is in. He did not make it to minute 45, so believe it's going to be a 2-stopper for everybody.
I cannot believe the size of the lead that Ty Simons has got already.
I can definitely believe the size of the lead that Ty Simons has got already, having raced against him.
Yeah, 23 seconds. That's just ridiculous.
And he's just got his new sim rig too. He's still getting used to it. So
Yeah, he's really struggling.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but he's not gonna finish the race because he booked Fanadem.
Right.
You know.
Just seen a... sorry, guys. Just seen a message in the Discord from Mick Muller. Said his pedals came loose.
Oh,
so that
wow.
would help describe some of what we saw with him. Likely the second incident. I think his running wide in turn 1 was just a mistake, but the second incident may very well have been a contributing factor. Here is Tom Sluter on his teammate Martin Verschluven for 6th place.
Multi-21, that one.
Yeah, and you can see the battle for 4th up the road, not too far from them. That's Abdul and Ben.
I get the feeling that Ben is now biding his time for some reason. He's been about half a second behind AAA for a little while now.
Well, he shouldn't be biding his time. This is when he needs to make up time because he's going to be in the pits in the next 3 or 4 laps for his final stop. So, yeah, no, Ben will need to be pushing at this point to try and get whatever ground he can on low fuel. Because that is the only way he's going to move forward at this point. It's just so hard to pass here. I think he might just be a little stuck behind Abdul at this point. I have to say, we've seen some pretty excellent battling for a track that is notoriously difficult to pass on.
It's been great, actually. There's been some questionable sends, and there's been some really professional overtakes done. And a lot of cooperation as well. People are you can see they're choosing who they're battling, so that's a good sign of a healthy league.
Yeah, definitely right there. Ooh, that's a Dutchie's car. That's for Sluven.
Yeah,
That's
not
Pro
good.
Ford off the track. That looked like another missed turn 1 braking point. He joins right in front of Callum Mooney, who finally gets some camera time, having run a solid race all day. Missed braking,
yeah,
too deep. Keep it out of the tires. We'll never know. Yeah, there is Callum Mooney. He is just having a stellar day today. Really, really excellent drive for the AM symmetric driver. He's not been the flashiest of the asymmetric group all season, but he knows how to put in a solid race and is doing it here today, just keeping it clean. I'm sure he'll get the multi-21 order before too long. Oh, careful, Stefan. Oh, jeez.
How did they manage to not, like,
Baz gave Stefan a car width and an inch at the apex of the Andretti hairpin there. This is the battle for 6th and 7th in AM. That's 17th and 18th overall. But yeah, back to Callum. I think he's going to be instructed to let Stewart through here. I know the asymmetric guys don't actually have team orders, but that's one of those situations where you say, yeah, go ahead, boss.
Yeah, too right. Ooh. JVZ flashing away.
Oh, is that Larry DeLang? Yeah, going a lap down to 2nd and 3rd in the race. Already a lap and a half or so down to Ty Simons, but yeah, this is that battle for 2nd. And Paul is really wringing the neck of that Ferrari to try and keep JVZ behind him as Marcel Kempenaar is off again at turn 1. Not the first time we've seen him have trouble there.
No, he needs one of those Caterpillar track cars, doesn't he? So he can navigate the sand a bit easier.
Yeah. He was under pressure from Mark Herron at the time. Mark's now taken that position, which is an AM class podium. So that's an important battle there that Marcel has taken himself out of.
It was a strange one. He must have just carried too much speed into the apex point of that corner, and the back end's just stepped out on him.
Yeah, this is, again, Ben still stuck behind Abdul, and he'll need to be in the pits, I gotta believe, in a lap or two, that his fuel has to be running rather thin, unless he was doing some saving while in traffic, which is not altogether impossible, and would certainly benefit him for this final stop. Keep it a little bit shorter, but yeah, he'll have wanted to have dispatched of Abdul a little quicker than this, I think. Back in a split-second, Pete.
Sure thing. A lot further back down the racetrack, Matt Snook is in close company with Frank Seabosch. He is probably going to... I mean, Frank did some very good qualifying and was very competitive in the practice session beforehand, so I don't think he's going to let him go here. He's going to fight this one.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Frank has been on the wrong end of a couple of front bumpers today.
Yes.
Through no fault of his own in either situation. So, yeah, not been the race Frank was hoping for after the qualifying effort he put in, but certainly he'll put up a fight for Matt Snook here.
Yeah, he might want to check the back of his car in case somebody's painted a target on the back of it. It's been hit that many times.
Yeah, I'll have to talk to Carl about that, I think. But
yeah, definitely. Speaking of Carl, where is he?
Two spots behind.
These two. Yeah.
I think Frank is the current highest running of the result cars, which kind of tells you the day they've had. It's not been ideal. Ben Cullen in the pits for his final stop, as predicted.
Oh, look at this, for second again.
Yeah, JVZ not letting up on Paul Burgess. You get the feeling that this is going to go until the pit stops, and that one lap extra that JVZ was able to pull out of the first stint is going to come back to bite Paul Burgess, I think.
Well, it's going to be fractions of a second less stood still in pit road, isn't
Dutchies on Dutchies action here. That is Baz Sluter going through on Marcel Kempenaar, so Marcel continuing to fall after his multitude of incidents at the Andretti hairpin. Now you can definitely get a sense of how the field has spread out, because Ben Cullen's come out in 10th position ahead of all of the AM cars save Callum Mooney. So,
what's going on here? What's Martin Verschluven done?
He has taken too much curb at the corkscrew.
Oh, he's really made... Ooh. That's a dangerous place to be getting out of as well.
Yeah, done a little bonk on the wall there. Not the first time we've seen Martinoff had that overshoot of turn one as well. So, started out pretty well for Martin, running in the top 5, but the second stint has caused nothing but problems, and that's more trouble for Mark Herron. Oh dear. I think that's turn 1 as well.
Yes, it looks like it.
Yeah, you can see the pit exit cone there as the battle for second goes through. Mark recovers. Mark's still holding the final step of the AM class podium.
Yeah, so worth getting on the track and carrying on for.
And that is an overshoot of turn 1. How many times have we seen that today? A little nudge into the tire barrier. And that has brought Larry DeLange within 2.5 seconds or so.
Yeah, you would say that maybe the Dutchies have got a setup on their cars, which, I don't know, does it wear away at the tyres more and we see them losing the traction or overheating their tyres more than the others? I don't know.
I don't know. I think that's just an easily made mistake. Is that another one for Martin Verschluven in the same corner, Sam?
It is another one.
Oh dear.
One, yes.
So, more trouble for Martin Verschluven. I mean, I think, Pete, with the Dutchies guys all in different cars, there's not going to be a ton of commonality in the setups.
No.
I think this is more their classic Laguna Seca mistakes that they're making. So, I think it's more a matter of everybody making the same mistakes. Now, Paul's just said something in the chat, and I didn't hear what it was. But he is locked into this battle with JVZ for second place. Yeah, I've just looked at the stop time for Ben's second pit stop, and it was in line with what everyone else did for their first stop. So, definitely took a full tank, did Ben Cullen. The delta between his first stop and this stop was around about 15, 16 seconds. So would expect to see him, once everything is cycled through, somewhere towards the back half of the top 5, I think.
Yeah, and on the chat, Ben said, tough round, and he's not wrong.
I think he's saying tough round here, indicating that Laguna Seca is a tricky track.
Right.
But could be interpreted either way. Yeah, it's been a tough round for Ben. Really just a tough lap that he has since recovered from. It looks like it's getting dark. I don't know if it's just cloudy or the race is getting late. The time of day is 8:30 in the morning, so yeah, it'll just be getting cloudy, I suppose.
Oh, Martin Versteuven.
Yeah, Martin is not a happy camper at this point.
No, he spreads a bit more desert onto the track.
Yep.
What's he done here? Tire
wide,
on?
Yeah. Tire barrier, just a nudge.
Yeah, just a little kiss.
He is reshaping the nose of that Ford inch by inch with every hit that he makes.
And making it look better each time.
Well, I think the Ford is one of the prettier GTE cars, personally, but...
Apart from the back.
Well, you know.
Design
Looking at the weather, it's 8 in the morning. And the sky is clear. So I don't know what's going on.
I think there are definitely some dynamic clouds rolling in, because it definitely does appear sunnier than it was a moment ago. This is Chris Shaw on Barry Van Englenhoven. Chris looking to crack the top 10. And who is that? Oh, Martin Versteuven has made his second pit stop. So,
right, probably to address the damage he's probably taken.
Essentially, this is Mark Herron on Larry DeLange, or more accurately, I think it's Larry DeLange on Mark Herron. This is the battle for the final step of the AM-Class podium. You've got Abdul Al-Amri, lead lap car, working his way through these two. Will likely be giving an easier time to Mark Herron than he did Larry DeLange with the asymmetric teammates there.
Yeah, I would think so.
Oh, that's a curb strike for Mark Herron. That'll be where that indent on the right front came from, potentially.
Yeah, it's a big crease in the bodywork, isn't it?
Yeah, so he did fall behind Larry DeLange and then made that position back in turn number 1, is what happened.
Well, it's certainly not affected his straight line speed. He was
it looked like they both had the exact same damage, so. And Ben has said in the chat that we were both right, so.
Oh, excellent. Always good to both be right.
Yep.
Ooh, big lockup from Mark again.
And Stefan Goebel going sideways in the background as well, so definitely as tires are wearing, it's getting quite slippery out there for everybody.
And that over-rotation on the last corner is another feature of Laguna Seca, isn't it? You see a lot of people and officials burying the front of their car into the wall at the last corner.
Yeah, usually cars that find themselves between gears. You can really... it's a first gear corner, but depending how you've got the car geared, you can really spin up the tires pretty good and find yourself, as you mentioned, in the barriers on the left-hand side.
And I don't think we're done with the incidents in this race. It seems to be a fairly constant thing.
You don't think? With half an hour to go that we're done with the incidents? Yeah, 2/3 of the way through the race now in a couple of minutes.
More lockups from...
Oh, that's wide from Mark Herron. Yeah, he did well to keep that under him there.
That was wide in another way from Larry.
Yeah, that is Tom Sluter, their Larry's Pro Class teammate going through. And Stefan there is for position, so this is a 3-car battle for that final step on the M-Class podium. I think it... obviously, we've seen Pro-Class cars have trouble as well, but I think it kind of highlights how tricky this track is, that by and large, the AM cars have filtered out of the Pro cars. You know, we saw quite a bit interspersed at the start of the race, but really the incidents have hit the AM class cars quite a bit harder than the Pro drivers.
I heard screeching tires just then.
Yeah, no.
Oh dear.
Yeah, and Larry DeLange came on the radio to apologize, but it wasn't to Mark Herron, it was to his teammate.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so Mark made that mistake by himself. Not been the funnest of days for Mark Herron, has it?
No, it hasn't. And it's a shame. Oh, has he reset that car, or has he driven it back?
Oh, whose Tice said that about?
I think he's he's disappointed that Mark's in the pits. That's what I got from it. Anyway, it was a very brief little message.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. Tice is doing fine. Yeah, he's got about 30 seconds of a lead now.
It's Martin Schluven being chased down by Marco Lower, and AAA going to lap them in a second. AAA is quick round here, isn't he?
Yeah, and exactly as you were talking about, Pete, if he can stay out of trouble, he is quite adept at working his way forward. He's up 6 spots from where he started and knocking on the door of overall podium.
Yeah, he's got good racecraft. I sometimes watch his stream, and it gets a bit crashy around him sometimes. But in terms of racecraft, he's very good.
You know, it's funny. I was talking to Abdul and Stewart at one point, I think after one of our GT4 races. And I commented on how aggressive I thought Abdul was. Not in a bad way, because I think a lot of people hear that and they go, oh, he's aggressive, he's a dirty driver. No. He just defends his positions firmly, and he attacks aggressively but fairly. He's a great driver to race against because he gives you a hell of a time if you're battling him. But I said that, and Stewart said, what are you talking about? We always, in the team, we give Abdul crap because he's too passive. And I could not believe it. Like, in all of my experience, Abdul is one of the hardest fighters that I have come up against. But apparently, the asymmetric team doesn't think so. So, I don't know who's right there. But from their perspective, Abdul is far too passive out on track. But I have had some excellent battles where Abdul has not given me an inch. But by the same token, as fair as they come. And that's why I think he finds himself in 4th at the moment. Yeah,
and Ben's corrected me. So Tice was making comment about Matt Snook. I don't know what was going on. Maybe we'll find out later. At the top of the pile, your top 3 in Pro are Ty Simons. Should we give him 5 more seconds?
Well, he'll find it in the next couple laps. So
yeah, true. I was meaning 5 more seconds on screen.
Yes, yeah.
So, for Paceworks Esports, he's got a monster lead. There he is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right behind him is Paul Burgess, still in 2nd place, with JVZ still on his tail with the same gap he's had for many laps. I suspect that there will be a last lap, maybe last couple of laps move here. If he's saving fuel behind him, maybe he's going to do a shorter stop in his pit box.
Yeah, that's what I was.
That's
what I was figuring, Pete. I mean, he already went. JVZ did a lap longer than Paul in the first stint. If he can stretch an extra lap in this one, it definitely seems like he has the pace to overcut Paul.
And then in AM, your leader is Callum Mooney in that lovely purple and black coloured Porsche.
There he is.
He's got himself a tidy lead over the next nearest, which is Barry van Engelenhoven in second place, 14 seconds back down the road at the moment.
And, Pete, sorry, I was just going to say that if things stay roughly as they are, this is going to be a massive points day for Callum Mooney because, as we've mentioned, points awarded based on your overall finishing position, not your position in class. So, as it stands, he's got 3 pro cars between himself and the next AM driver, so could definitely be a strong points day for Callum Mooney.
Yeah, he'll be hauling that in. At the minute, we've got BSTV on BSTV.
Yeah, Chris still owes us a pit stop, but trying to... Has Ben recently got by him, or is Chris closed in on Ben? I'm not sure.
I think
Chris is closed in on Ben, if I'm not mistaken.
Because Ben came out of the pits in 10th place, didn't he?
Yeah, but he has gained spots on Martin Versluven and somebody else since then.
Mark Heron, I think.
Yes, Mark Heron was the other one. You're right.
Yeah.
So, there has been a couple of spots up for Ben since the pit stop. So, yeah, I think Ben would be wise to just let Chris through here as... Oh, no!
You're joking.
Is that the third one I've cursed today?
I think we both did a double curse there.
Yeah.
I think people will
ultra
like more
effective
when you race than when you comment, Tyler, because you crash less into them than when you comment.
Oh, and he's taken the opportunity.
Run wide, picked up the throttle too early. We talked about that. Oh.
Yeah. Oh.
I hope he still has his fast repair, because that, he's going to need it.
He went very businesslike to the pit straight away, so I think he has, yeah.
Yeah. He's still in the pits. How long has he been in his box? Not an unreasonable amount of time, because he's come in early. Yeah, 13. Yeah. So he has got his fast repair. That's good for Abdul.
Yeah.
He has though fallen behind Ben Cullen, so that was very costly. As Paul Burgess has surrendered second position.
Oh no!
And a nudge of the wall. Yeah, now 5 seconds back from JVZ, and he enters the pits as well, so Paul likely coming to take advantage of his fast repair. Yeah, so that spin was costly for Abdul in that battle with Ben. Ben now finds himself a couple seconds ahead. Is Paul crabbing a little bit?
I think so, yeah. Hopefully he's still got his fast repair. Yeah, there's no reason why he shouldn't do. He was clean up until that point.
Yep. Let's see, does it? Yep. Yeah. Saw it all pop back into place. So, will be interesting. Paul and JVZ had a solid, 10 seconds or so on the AAA Ben Cullen battle. So would expect Paul to get out well in front of Ben.
What's Cullen done? Too deep into the last corner, I think.
Yeah. And now let's through Yaz, not for position. Stefan Goebbels in the pits for his final stop.
Yeah, Colin seems to be struggling on the controls of that car. It's got a bit of damage on it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just handling like a pig, because these cars do fall apart when they've hit stuff.
Yeah, so Paul has maintained a solid gap over Ben, who is the second of the... Paul and Ben are the top 2 of the cars who have made their final stop, and Paul has about a 20-second advantage over Ben, so comfortable there. Paul's stop was a nice short 10.25 seconds, so...
Just answering the messages on the chat. Ivanzo27. What happened to Simon Chester? He only did 7 laps. I think he ended up in a bit of an incident with somebody else and didn't get going too much after that, I'm afraid. And then Martin said he had to pull out. He made a good few places at the start. into the corkscrew, but then went off too many times. Was getting in people's way. Yeah, I've been a rolling roadblock before, but it just makes life interesting for everybody else, I think.
Yeah, and Stacey's also told us that Carl is out due to getting fed up of crashing. So
it's the Laguna effect, then, is it?
Yeah. Yeah, results in Laguna, not a good mix, it seems. Oh, Tice!
Simons.
He kept it out of the wall. That was well done. He knew instantly that he had dropped the wheel and locked it down. That is the mark of, well, we all know that Tice is a great driver, but that just kind of proves it to you, because how many drivers have we seen, including some properly rapid guys like Martin Versluven, Stuart Dick, who have dropped tires there and not recovered it in time. Yep. Tice knew exactly what was going on, locked it down, threw it to the right so it would stay out of the tire wall. That was, I don't think I can properly express how impressive that was, to be honest.
So, point to note, Tice, if you want any camera footage, just keep throwing it at the scenery.
Keep it up, yeah.
But no, that was an impressive recovery, especially on the sand. I mean, we've seen how slick it is. People are usually on a one-way ticket, and he very much made sure he stamped a return journey.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking at this battle, which is for, well, it's between classes, but this is 17th, 18th, and 19th overall. Oh, no, sorry, that's the wrong Dutchies car. But it's 17th and 18th overall. Marco Lewert, who's 11th in Pro. Matt Snook, who is 7th in AM. But again, points payout is your overall finish, so every position counts here. Matt will be looking to see if he can get through on Marco for sure.
Who is that Ford in the background there? Is that?
That is, does it have green or orange numbers?
Barry.
Yeah, orange numbers, so that's Barry Van Englenhoven.
Cheers, Sam.
Who is second in AM. Actually ahead of his pro Ford teammate, Martin Versluven. For obvious reasons, we've seen Martin's incidents today.
I'm going to step away for a second. I will be back very, very shortly.
A little bit of a headlight flash there from Barry, so Pete will be glad to have missed that. And Matt Snook lets him through. Barry continues his move forward. Yaz has done well for himself after some, I think, early struggles. He's up to 5th in the AM class. Our fellow commentator here at BSTV, we've mentioned a couple times today. He's about 5 seconds down the road from Baz Sluter, who holds 4th in AM. Larry DeLang is a further 20 seconds up the road. So a bit out of reach from the podium, as he is not far from getting lapped by his AM class leading teammate Callum Mooney, which tells you the kind of race that Callum has had. We've already talked about it a few times, but just been mighty impressive. He's got Jamie Wilson bearing down on him, but I don't think Callum will be all too upset if he does end up surrendering that position to Jamie, because he has just been stellar today for AM Sim Metric. They have so many different drivers that they had to find different ways to abbreviate the team name and differentiate it. I hadn't seen that one before. I think Callum might have been a late registration because we have a few AM Symmetric teams. He's behind a couple of his pro teammates, actually, Paul Burgess, Stuart Dick, who are, I think, together on track after Paul's pit stop. So that won't be for position. Stuart still owes us a stop. But there are the two asymmetric drivers in 4th and 5th. Paul after his incident, but got the faster pair, so he should be back up to full racing speed. And Stewart's had a nice recovery after his couple of spins as well. We saw his turn 5 spin, and then a secondary kind of bobble in turn 5 that slowed him down a little bit, but no damage in either case, so he's had a solid recovery. Here is that battle we were talking about, Jamie Wilson and Callum Mooney, between classes, but for position overall. Chris Shaw is about 2 3/4 seconds back of them, so not an imminent threat to these two. But we've seen how quick Chris has been. There he is in the back of your shot. Jamie has definitely managed to find some pace towards the end of this race. I think I could certainly be mistaken, but I'm guessing that Jamie just didn't have the time to put in to practice a ton for this one, because much like Chris Shaw behind him, he seemed to struggle at the start and has gradually worked his pace up towards the end of this race. His best lap is an 18.6, which is obviously not there with the Tices of the world, but it's still a pretty solid lap. It's quicker than Callum's in front of him. His best lap is an 18.8. Jamie definitely does seem to be the quicker car at this point. He's right tucked in behind as they head into turn 6. Callum a bit wide at the apex. They both run wide. Jamie's going to have a look into the corkscrew. I think Callum's going to let him have it here. Indeed, he does. So that is P6 overall for Jamie Wilson. Callum Mooney drops down to P7, still with the AM class overall lead. And all these drivers still owe us a pit stop. The only drivers in the top 10 or so who have made their second stop are Paul Burgess and Ben Cullen. So would expect those two to move forward some. And Abdul Al-Amri, I should say, who is in behind Ben Cullen. Hasn't really made up any ground since his pit stop, has Abdul, so doesn't seem at this point to have the pace, even with taking his fast repair, to keep up with Ben Cullen as it stands at the moment. Mentioned earlier as well how the AM class cars by and large have filtered out of the pro class cars with the exception of Callum Mooney. Only a couple pro cars at this point stuck back amongst the AMs, drivers who have had some trouble today. Martin Versluven and Marco Lewert among them. Here's that battle again for fourth. As we mentioned, Paul Burgess, Stuart Dick. Stuart still owes us a pit stop, so this isn't for net position, but I think Stuart wants to show Paul that he can still pass him.
Sure.
And that is race leader Ty Simons down the road from them. He is not far from lapping up through fourth place in this race.
What is he on? Absolutely unreal.
Absolutely unbelievable. Of course, Ty still owes us a pit stop as well, so don't think he'll lap Paul before the end of this, but he is on the same strategy as Stuart, so that is truly looking to put him a lap down. Larry DeLange's in for his last pit stop from fourth place in the AM category.
Did I miss any other dramas, or is everything?
No, you didn't. Things have come down. Jamie Wilson got by Callum Mooney for 6th overall. That's been about it since he left. Just closing in on the final, nearly at 10 minutes left in the race, so those final pit stops will be coming any minute now in the next 2 or 3 laps, I would think.
And here we go, Stuart Dick to pit road.
Yes, indeed. So, kind of the first of that group who didn't have an issue that forced him to pit road to make his final stop is Stuart. It'll be interesting to see where he comes out, particularly with relation to Ben Cullen and his teammate Abdul Al-Amri, who he was behind, but obviously both of those two had longer stops. Abdul longer in laps, so he's dropping back and rolling again. Ben is through. Abdul is now through as well, so Stuart finds himself behind both of those drivers.
And is there any chance at all that JVZ, while he was sat behind Paul Burgess, could have fuel saved enough to get to the end?
No, I don't think so. No. The only driver who was really close to that was Yaz, actually, who we see on screen at the moment. In his battle with Larry DeLange. Larry, fresh out of the pits. Yaz was about a minute short of halfway So with some extreme fuel saving, he could get there. I don't think he's going to. I don't think that's the kind of the right call. But no, nobody of the front runners was anywhere close to making it on one stop. Tom Sluter in the pit lane from third. Now the question for him is, will he drop behind Paul Burgess? I think he will, because he's just now stopped in his stall. Yes, Paul's already through, so solid third place there for Paul. This is a battle for position, so now this is going to be very interesting, because Jamie still owes us a stop. So Chris closed in that gap on Jamie Wilson quite rapidly. And Yaz is off the track there.
He's trying to stay safe.
Yeah, trying to keep out of people's way off the racing line. That's a solid effort from Yaz. Has cost him 5th in AM as Marcel Kempenaar has come through.
And that is second place going through on him there in AM. Callum Mooney.
Yeah, so Callum must have made his final pit stop. I missed that one.
I think Barry owes us a pit stop somewhere.
Yep, Barry does indeed owe us a stop. And that is Barry. That's Barry off the track at turn 1.
That's a different type of stop, Barry.
Yeah. So Chris exits the pits right in front of Callum Mooney. Chris was behind before the pit sequence, so that is a net position gain for Chris Shaw. Here's Barry. Too much speed in. Yep. Off the rears.
Turn 1 has claimed a new victim.
Yep. Yeah, so Chris Shaw on Callum Mooney. Obviously not for position in class, but that is a net position. And as we've said a few times, pays points overall. So Callum will likely try and stick with Chris if he can, but I think at this point in the race, Chris just has a little bit more pace than these guys he's racing with. So who up front still owes us a stop? The top 2 do. Barry is in, by the way. There is JVZ going into the pits. So Tice has actually extended a lap longer than his teammate.
Is there anything that boy can't do? Can he? I don't think he can juggle or something like that.
I don't know. We have to ask him. Was that Tice saying he's... Oh, no. I think Tice might have run it out of fuel.
What?
Oh, no, he's in. Okay. I heard, I'm short. I wasn't meant to do that from Tice.
Right,
so he scared me there. I don't know if we can go on board and hear if he's sputtering, but... No, it sounds like he's alright on the limiter there. So not sure...
I think he was apologising to Paul Burgess.
It's possible, yeah. Not sure why, but it made my heart race for a second. But Tice is in, Jamie Wilson is in, which puts Ben Cullen through into 5th place, and JVZ has come out well ahead of Paul Burgess, so no real surprise there.
And apparently I was right this time. He was apologising to Paul Burgess. But we don't know what about, so... Because Ben's just confirmed that on the chat. Ben isn't that far away from getting back to where he started the race in 4th place.
Yeah, it's all worked out somewhat all right for Ben. Attrition has helped for sure, but
yeah,
Ben's done well to keep it clean after his initial incident. Now this is the most exciting battle on track at the moment. So Chris was able to jump Jamie in the pit stops. We saw those two battling right down to the wire before Chris ducked into pit lane. They've escaped away a little bit from Callum Mooney, who now just has one pro car between himself and the 2nd place AM car in Martin Versluven.
Yeah, and Jamie's clearly after the Stacey vote. Not only has he got yellow wing mirrors, he's got the endurance light in his back window is yellow as well.
Yeah, it seems that way. And, these are the two guys who I was talking while you were gone for a moment, Pete, but I think Jamie probably just didn't have the time to practice because he's really picked up the pace as the race has gone on.
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
is similar to what Chris Shaw has done, if a little bit slower for Jamie. But yeah, his race pace seems to have come over the course of the race, which seems to indicate that likely he didn't have a ton of practice time in the car before this morning.
Yeah, and Chris is stretching a bit of a lead on him now.
Yeah, it definitely does seem like Chris has the upper hand at this point. While Jamie was battling Callum, he reeled them in quite quickly, and now has cleared them and scampered off down the road.
Yeah, and Matt Snook is still stuck to the back of Stefan Goebel's car, back in 20th and 21st, respectively. So no change in that one. And I don't think we'll be looking away from this battle for a little while. Ooh, unless Jamie does more of that, putting tyres on the track. Yeah. Stacey's cheering for on the chat now.
That puts Ben in the danger zone.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah. Just closing in on 5 minutes to go here.
Jamie is toying with disaster there.
Yeah, he's really pushing. I think he needs to accept a little bit that he's not going to run down Chris Shaw. Here's the battle for 20th, 9th, and 10th in AM class. Matt Snook, who we've seen in the middle of a couple battles. Oh, that's JVZ.
It is.
He's had an issue, and there's another of the Black Diamond cars.
That's Paul Burgess.
Has he gone? He's gone through.
Yeah, so he left him loads of room, and then just went out wide.
Oh,
then,
yeah.
Controlled it reasonably well, but
I don't know what Ben's saying in the chat.
I don't either. I don't know.
But yeah, that is the battle for second. Oh, and there was a little nudge there too. And we're still on replay. It looks like this battle is continued on live as well. Yeah, so JVZ giving away the advantage he had picked up over Paul in the same corner that Paul lost his lead for second place. I think Ben is asking Tice for coaching again.
Yeah, Stacey says nice drifting from JVZ.
Yeah, similar in effect to what we saw with Tice earlier. As soon as he felt that car stepping out, he locked it down, which saved him from a much worse incident. But at the moment, it seems like he is dropping back from Paul Burgess.
It was a funny one because it looked like he had two stabs at it, as it were. There was a first bit of motion in the car which he kind of almost caught, and then the second motion was the one that made him turn.
Yeah, I'm not sure. There is a good bit of traffic ahead of these two, which could complicate the situation, but at the moment it looks like Paul Burgess has the upper hand.
Yeah, we've got about 3 minutes to race, or 4 minutes to race, something like that, so maybe 3 laps?
Yeah, and these drivers are battling for position, so they're not going to be moving aside to let these folks through. This is 7th, 8th, and 9th in AM class right here. So it's not... They have a right to fight. They're in a race as well. That is Stein Hendricks off the track in front of this group.
And these are for position now, I think.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Stein is in this battle as well. So he goes side by side with Stefan.
He clearly wasn't intending to be. Just to note, Yaz has now paid his pit lane bill.
Okay, so yeah, was not able to stretch that to the end as we expected. So yeah, this is 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th in AM all in play. Frank Tibosh, who has recovered to 6th pretty well for the number of times he's been sent off somebody's front bumper today, is a little bit up the road from this group. But
have you seen who's right behind this group?
Yes, that's what I've been saying, Pete, is that these guys have no obligation to move over for the leaders, and with this battle going down, I don't think they're going to.
That was getting a bit tasty then.
Certainly was.
I thought Matt Snook was going to poke his nose in there as well.
Yeah, Paul will be thinking, why me at this point?
Yeah. What have I got to do?
Yeah.
Just want some empty track.
And Paul's took to the chat to, I think, let them know there's a battle going on, but again, they're in a race of their own, and they definitely don't need to move aside for Paul here. Be aware, of course, that he's there, and if Paul, makes a move up the inside, you let him have it, but you don't want to be getting out of the way just to let him through, because you give up on the battle that way.
Matt did lose his back end on that last turn, but he's got it back together.
Yeah, Paul's made a look there, but Matt holds his position.
That was a gambler.
Yeah, it certainly was. Uh-oh. Something's happened to Stewart, potentially.
He's not dropping any time, Stuart. So
no. Yeah, and we don't really want to look away from this one. I don't see anyone dropping down the order.
No.
There's the move to the inside from JVZ. And he's done it.
Lovely move, actually.
Should be getting the white flag. I think Tice picked up but he's so far up the road. He's a minute up the road. No, so they'll get 2 more laps, I think. Yeah, he'll be coming to pick up the white flag now. So it'll be 2 more laps for Paul and JVZ. Oh, he's put Ben a lap down. Oh, I'm sure that's what Ben was negotiating earlier, as he was at Zolder, to not be put a lap down. Evidently, this time Tice wasn't feeling as generous.
No. I mean, he's only got a 1:07 lead. I mean, it's a lot to give up, isn't it?
And now JVZ has the exact same problem that Paul Burgess had.
Let's see.
Which is some battling cars in front of him.
Let's see if the favour gets repaid somewhere along the line here.
Bit of defensive maneuvering there. Not really. I don't think Paul's going to send it into turn 6. He's not an idiot, so that would be... Oh, that was close between Matt Snook and Stefan Goebbels.
It was, and now he's in the way of JV's head.
Yeah. Now he does exactly what he did. That is smart maneuvering there from JVZ, taking advantage of that situation. Paul's done well to get through, though, and he hasn't let him get away. And they'll be coming around to take the white flag this time. A couple of Dutchies Fords going side by side there. I think that was Barry going past Martin. As Tice comes around to take the checkered flag. Gets his screen time. Now can we go back to the battle for second, please, Sam? Messing around there.
Yeah. No messing
here is that battle. No.
Ben says he didn't ask today.
Okay. Well, the trouble for Paul here now is that I think with Stefan clear of Matt Snook, they're doing pace that really isn't that far off what these 2 lead lap cars are doing. So they're really not holding up JVZ all that much at this point in the race. Yeah, this has been an absolute fantastic battle to close out what has been a really excellent race, I have to say. Kind of wish I was a part of it, to be honest, but that's all right. Happy to help out here in the booth. Couple more corners to go for Paul, and I think unless there's a mistake from JVZ, it's going to be quite tough. We'll try and set up a run out of the last corner, but a little nudge on the bumper, but
sorry, not sorry for Paul Burgess.
No, I think that was a genuine apology, because I don't think Paul sent it in there trying to nudge him. No, I think he was just trying to carry as much minimum corner speed as he could. And there is your AM class winner, Callum Mooney. Didn't see him cross the line, unfortunately, but as dominating a performance almost as Tice had in the pro category, you have to say, for Callum.
Yeah, absolutely. And
he finished nearly a minute up on Barry Van Englenhoven, if my data is right.
Yeah, and because Ty Simon had 1 entire turn of the Earth lead, everybody's finished.
Yes, indeed.
So
go for it, Pete.
No, I'll leave it to you.
All right. Your overall race winner is Tice Simons for Paceworks Esports. JVZ for Paceworks Esports Holland comes home in second. Paul Burgess rounds out the podium for Asymmetric. Tom Sluter for Dutchies Esports Charlie comes home fourth. Ben Cullen, a fantastic effort for BSTV Esports Yellow, comes home fifth. Abdul Al-Emri, an asymmetric driver, comes home 6th ahead of Stuart Dick, an asymmetric driver. Chris Shaw for BSTV Esports Green finishes in 8th. Jamie Wilson for Team Chimera comes home 9th. Your AM class winner, Callum Mooney for AM Symmetric, finishes 10th overall. Barry Van Englenhoven for Dutchies Esports Bravo comes home in 11th and 2nd in AM. Martin Versluven for Dutchies Esports Alpha comes home in 12th. Marco Lewert for VTS Red finishes in 13th. Marcel Kempenaar recovers to round out the AM class podium for Dutchies Esports Charlie and his Corvette. Larry DeLange comes home 4th in AM, 15th overall for Dutchies Esports Alpha. Baz Sluter, another Dutchies driver, comes home 16th for Dutchies Esports Bravo. Frank Tibosh, the highest finishing of the result drivers for WorkGuard by result, comes home 17th. Stein Hendricks for Dutchies Gaming comes home in 18th.
19th was Stefan Goebel for VTS Yellow, with 20th being Matt Snook for Team Black Diamond. Yaz Samai finished 21st, trying to get to the end on one stop, couldn't quite, for AM Symmetric. Colin McAllister finished 22nd for Team Black Diamond 2. Mark Heron finished in 23rd for AM Symmetric, but didn't finish the race overall. Nor did Carl Hardy, who quit because he got sick of crashing, apparently, in 24th for Safeguard by result. Mick Muller for Black Box finished a number of laps down in 25th. 26th was Martin Brennan, who quit for the same reasons as Carl, for Safeguard by result. Then Simon Chester for Team Black Diamond in 27th. And Marcus Bletz on a handheld controller finished 28th. So, there's going to be mixed feelings taken away from this one, don't you think, Tyler? A race for some of them to... Some of them will never forget it because they saw more sand than tarmac. And some who had great recovery drives and great races.
Yeah, well, it was a blast for us to watch, for sure. And I think the drivers who likely enjoyed that probably outnumber the drivers who didn't. Even though the drivers who made mistakes definitely outnumber the drivers who didn't. So,
yep.
No, I think, that's Laguna Seca. It's a tough track to wrap your head around. But the drivers who made the fewest mistakes and had solid pace had good days. And we definitely saw quite a few good days.
Yeah, one of the best days was Tice Simon. So I've just pulled him into the booth for you, Tyler. So away you go on Tice.
Well, congratulations, Tice, on a dominating win. The first and, of course, the most important question is, how relieved were you when you found out I wasn't going to be racing?
Yeah, you always seem to be a challenge with the fuel-saving strats.
Oh, I don't think I could have pulled one off here today. It seemed a bit too tough, but... No, but actually, Tice... you were well and truly ahead of the field. We gave you your obligatory 5 seconds of airtime a couple of times, but really you were just kind of in your own little world there. We did, fortunately, catch your little slide at the exit of turn 5.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that was
did you see your whole race flashing before your eyes there?
Yeah, well, at first I was like, oh man, I'm going to hit a wall, but then I still had my fast repair, and I would have just bit early, and I think I would be fine. But yeah, it was a scary moment. I don't even know what happened. I just lost focus for a bit, and yeah, it happens quickly at this track. So
yeah, I have to say, I was rather complimentary of your recovery from that mistake, because we saw a number of drivers who dropped a wheel there just absolutely send it into the tire barriers, and you did incredibly well to hold on to it.
Yeah, the trick is to not brake, to not lock up your brakes, and have a tiny bit of gas to recover it, because if you go full throttle, then the rears are spinning like crazy, and then it's a donut machine. So it's just key to have like 10% of gas, and then slowly get onto the racetrack, because if you go too quick, if you are too eager to get on the racetrack, then you will just end up spinning around again. But yeah, it was a scary moment.
Yeah, I'd imagine. But other than that, it was pretty smooth sailing. Did you have any other notable scary moments in the race that we didn't catch, or was it really just easy breezy out there for you?
Yeah, well, a few times I tire onto the gravel, a few 1Xs, unfortunately, but nothing dramatic. Everything behaved, the lap cars behaved, so it was smooth sailing for me, I would say.
Well, very good. We've got Bathurst next week, which I will definitely be racing in because I can never, I can't skip a Bathurst race. But how do you feel about Bathurst, and are you looking forward to it?
Oh yeah, I love Bathurst. It's a good track. Me and Jochem had a good race during the Bathurst 12 hours. In split 3 we ended up P5, so that was a really good race from the both of us. So I like Bathurst. It's just I never really driven it in the Porsche in a GT overall, and the Porsche I think will be a bit tricky because of all the bumps and elevation changes, etc. But I'll make the most of it, and hope to get a decent points haul there as well.
Well, good. Nice to hear. I'll have a challenge. But no, I'm just kidding, Tice. I guess the question is, looking ahead longer at the schedule, which races are you going to skip with your massive points lead? You can probably afford to skip 2 or 3 at this point.
I'm going to try and do them all, but if I am on vacation for one or something, I don't know yet. But yeah, it's in my agenda, and if I am able to race, I'll definitely be there. Unfortunately for all the other drivers, maybe.
Oh, very good.
Guys, I have a question for you. Can
Yeah.
you juggle? Can you juggle?
Juggle?
Yeah. You know,
That's
juggle
with the
ball?
balls, right?
Yeah,
No,
you do.
I can't do it.
Oh, thank God for that. That's something he can't do.
Well, Tice, do you have anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, Jochem for staying with me during the race again, and my chat. They were also keeping me company, and you guys for the broadcast. So, yeah, that's it pretty much.
Very good. Well, we'll see you next time out, Tice. Congratulations once again on your another overall win in the GTCC, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, cheers, boys. See you later.
Cool. So I am going to bring into the booth. We know him as JVZ. Joachim, good evening. Second place tonight. Very accomplished drive. Had a real ding-dong battle with Paul Burgess for nearly the entire race. We saw some incidents from the pair of you, and it's worked out that you've come home second. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I was really struggling all race. But yeah, I had a great fight with Paul. He drove really nice. Yeah, we both made a big mistake. But I came out of top at the end, so I'm really happy with that.
Yeah, and you can tell us what you really think of Tice now. Is he just really annoying because he's so good?
Yeah, I see sometimes his telemetry, and then
Right.
I'm thinking like, all right, he's only braking like 1 or 2 meters later than me, but he's doing that like every corner. So
Right. Yeah.
And maybe-
Yeah.
if I have a good day and he has a bad day, we could be on the same pace. But yeah, maybe after the car switch and we both switch to the same car, we'll be more on the same pace as well, hopefully.
Yeah, well, let's hope so. He was head, shoulders, and everything else above the rest of the field
Yeah.
today. But you had a really good race. You started 5th. You made your way
Yeah.
up to 2nd to finish. You were sat behind, or rather in the middle of, another battle, which you were probably more than aware of at the very end of the race there.
Yeah.
It made for fantastic viewing. As Tyler's pointed out, in a few weeks' time, this series goes to Bathurst. How's your experience of Mount Panorama?
I only drove the 12-hour race together with Thijs, and that went really well. So really looking forward to drive again on that track with a GTE.
Yeah, it's going to be an awesome race. Any other shout-outs you'd like to make before we let you go?
Yeah, of course to Thijs. His pace was just alien this race. And of course to Paul with the battle. It was really clean. And of course to you guys for the broadcast.
Awesome stuff. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time out. Joachim.
Yeah. Goodbye.
Ooh, cut him off a bit too soon. Bit eager. For you now, Tyler, I'm going to bring in Paul Burgess.
Paul Burgess, a solid performance today. Always, what'd you say?
Yeah, you.
Yeah, it was up by my face. Sorry.
Uh,
Paul Burgess, a solid performance today. Always a good day when you can be up fighting with the Paceworks guys, which frankly it seems like you've been doing a lot of this season.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't necessarily been fighting like I was today. Definitely felt I had the pace to beat Joachim, but just a few mistakes cost me, I think, today. But yeah, I've got to be happy with P3 with the quality of the field.
Yeah, and really a pretty Tice aside, you and Joachim were kind of in a lead of your own, or a league of your own there. You pulled a pretty commanding gap over, who was it, Tom, who finished 4th. So as Joachim said when he was talking to Pete, you both kind of made mistakes in turn 6. We definitely saw both of them. What was did you think you had thrown it away at that point, or were you still hopeful of making that ground back up?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't going to catch the time up once I'd just turned in a bit early and clipped the inside and knew that was going to push me wide. So cursing myself a bit at that point, but went in, got the early pit for the repair, and got back out there obviously to make sure I could hold on to P3, and then come around the back straight and see Joachim rejoining the track and thought I had a chance. But yeah, just at the end, the trouble with this track is it's really hard to pass even lapped cars. So when the lapped cars were fighting for position, they weren't just going to let us by and trying to find a way past. So I let Joachim pass me, in fact, and then it was tough to get past again. But yeah, I mean, the pace was good. I was happy with where it was at, and I just got to keep that up going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely saw that battle. It was fun to watch because it was 2 really good battles going on between the battling AM drivers and yourself and Joachim. So yeah, a bit unfortunate for you there for sure. We saw that attempt in the last corner. Obviously, you know, there was a little nudge. I'm sure you were just trying to carry speed through. But did you think about sending it through there, or were you resigned to 3rd at that point?
No, I was just looking for the run out the corner, to be honest, but Joachim did really well. I knew his tyres were more shot than mine, so he was definitely braking earlier and losing pace in the braking zone, so I was just hoping I could carry that bit more speed through the corner, but he held the apex well and just bumped him in the back a bit instead, and that just killed any chance I had of the run out down the final straight. So yeah, he did well to defend that spot there.
Very good. Next time around, it's going to be Bathurst. I've just realized that I'm not going to be in town that week, so I told Tice I was going to be up battling him at the front, but that's not going to happen.
Just let him think that. It'll scare him for a bit.
But, well, certainly I know you're familiar with Bathurst from our battle there. You looking forward to it in the GT?
Well, my initial comment was if we thought 90 minutes of Laguna Seca was tough on the concentration, just wait until Bathurst. I think it's going to be a real challenge of focus throughout that race, and be about 45 laps around that track, I think. So that's going to be a tough one, but definitely enjoyable. Everyone loves that track, surely.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, except Pete, he loves the first few corners. He's never seen past that. But Paul, anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Just the team again. Good. Glad to see Yaz back. Had fun practicing with him earlier, and he helped with the setup a bit as well. Just a bit of feedback from him worked really well, and of course the rest of the lads and then you guys as well for putting on the broadcast every single time.
Excellent. Well, congratulations again on your podium, Paul Burgess, and we will see you next time out.
Cheers. See you later.
Cool. All right, and I get to interview. If I can find the words live booth on here. Yeah, there we go. I get to interview Callum Mooney, who not only did he finish first in AM, 10th overall, so good points, but he also, and more importantly, gets my vote for best asymmetric colour scheme. So, Callum, good evening. How you doing?
Thank you very much. Not too bad.
Yeah.
Rather surprised with the result there, to be honest. But
I don't know. You won. You beat rather Barry van Englenhoven by 20 odd seconds at the end. That's quite commanding.
Yeah, I mean, going into it, practicing, qualifying, and what have you, I wasn't overly confident because I know how easy it is to get things wrong on this track. I wasn't nowhere near the pace of the leaders in pro and what have you. I was like probably 2 seconds off the pace, but I just ran my own race. I was alone most of the race. There wasn't much battling going on, and I just ran my own, like I say, my own race, stuck at my own points, and tried to stay on track.
Yeah, Tyler called it about 2/3 of the way through and said that just by keeping yourself clean and out of trouble, you ended up floating to the top of the pile. And you're no slouch around here. Your times were good. Your fastest lap in the race was a 1:18.8, which stacked up well above some of the pro guys.
Yeah, I mean, later stages of the race, I was up. I think highest was about P6 when I think Abdul had an off, but it was. I knew I had the 3 pro drivers behind us who were catching us, and I thought I'm just going to pit. If it passes when I'm pitting, then that's great. It gets them out of my way, relieves any pressure off me. I can just concentrate on my own race again, and luckily came away with the arm win.
Yeah, sensible policy. And Bathurst next time out, that's a different set of challenge, isn't it? Instead of having miles and miles of desert, you've got no miles at all to the nearest concrete wall.
It's going to be tough. I haven't driven Bathurst on iRacing at all yet, so I need to purchase it and get a couple of weeks practice in.
Well,
before the race.
I've thought for years it was a rally time trial, and you only had to get so far around the lap, and then you just bend it into a wall. Apparently, that's wrong according to Tyler, but what does he know?
Yeah, I mean, back in my younger days, you could on the games you used to race back then, you could use the walls to get around the corners faster, but I don't think that's going to work in this case, is it?
No, I think you need a new plan, definitely. Yeah. But congratulations for tonight. It's been a very successful night for you. Anybody you'd like to thank before we let you go?
Just everyone in the team, really. They've all been a help, like you say, getting in practice sessions with setups, like some tips here and there to try and get the setup feeling a bit better. And then obviously you guys for putting the broadcast and everything on.
Well, thank you very much, and we look forward to seeing you, hopefully not, bumping the walls around Bathurst in a few weeks' time. Thank you very much, Callum Mooney.
Thanks.
Awesome. Well, I knew it'd be an exciting race. I didn't expect it to be exciting in the ways it was. It's Laguna Seca's delivered a great race for us tonight in the GTCC, and hopefully Bathurst does next time out as well. Standout moments for you, Tyler? Probably Tice saving it, was it?
That was definitely one of them. For me, I think that maybe it's just recency bias here, but that battle at the end was absolutely phenomenal between Paul and JVZ, and the 3 battling AM cars too. Stefan, Matt Snook, Frank was in there. Who was the other one? Stein Hendricks was in there as well.
Yeah.
Just some really excellent racing, and honestly, there was really excellent racing throughout. It really felt like there was some exceptional driving going on. So, maybe it's because I wasn't out there to mess things up for everybody, but I just thought it was an absolutely awesome standard of racing, and it was a blast to watch.
It was. The talent level in this particular league is phenomenal, and I hope it lasts for a good time longer yet. Sam, how's your arm doing? Are you in a lot of pain?
That's me trying to reach the button to unmute myself for the broadcast. Yeah, I think the 10 hours yesterday just killed it, and it's even worse today. So I'm gonna bug off right after the stream and
no problem.
Try to get some rest. But racing was great. That's very enjoyable.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Again, so yeah. On that note, I will say good night to everybody, and thank you to Tyler for sacrificing a race to join me in the booth. Very much appreciated, and stop me talking nonsense the entire time. Thank you very much to Stacey for finding time in her evening to join us as well, albeit briefly. Thanks to Sam for struggling on with a broken arm. We've got another one to set up for tomorrow now. because tomorrow is Next Level Esports GT3. Forgotten where it's from already. I'll go and find out where I'm at. Where's the start? Oh dear, I'm not very good at this, am I? Who invited this amateur? Oh, that's good. Google Drive won't open now. There we go. So tomorrow, if I can go to the right month of the year, that always helps
I can't
as
help
well.
you because I don't know yet either.
No, it's Phillip Island.
Oh yes. Oh,
it's going to be
fun.
a good one. Yep. So that should be a blast. Midweek we're at Charlotte for GT4 TCRs, and then on Saturday coming we've got V8 ESC again. It's at Spa. Your favourite track, Tyler?
Oh yeah.
So lots to look forward to over the next few days. Hopefully Sam gets to rest his arm again before tomorrow. And I'll say good night now and let the guys say good night. Good night.
Yeah, thanks for watching, everybody, and hope we see you tomorrow or next time. So good night.
And good night, everybody. Thanks for watching.